Um, Good afternoon, everyone. We didn't really expect to be doing a video on a Friday evening, but some astonishingly big Doctor Who news, I would say, broke this afternoon. That I'm sure watching this video, people are aware of what it was. Former showrunner Russell T Davies is returning to the show as showrunner. Uh, it seemingly came out of the blue. I wasn't aware of anything. And they just dropped a press release saying, yeah, he's back for the 60th anniversary year and beyond. So that's 2023 and however many series he wants to stay on before. And I'm still shocked now. I really can't get my head.
You can't get over it, can you?
I just can't. I am shocked.
I was like, cool. And you're just like, I can't process this information.
I really can't process it. For those that know, probably the Russell T Davies era is probably my favourite of Doctor Who. Not that I don't enjoy Matt Smith, Capaldi, or Whittaker at all. But for me, it's the Chris Ferguson, David Tennant era is always at the top. And that's just how it has been. So I'm very excited for hopefully that style to return, if that's how it's going to be. But what was your reaction to this news?
Was initially. But yeah, I think it's quite exciting. I am a bit sad we're not going to get a completely fresh take, I feel. That's what I was most excited for. But it's also quite exciting to get someone back who's done it before, comfortably done it before, and has had 10 years to be like, oh, if I did that again, what would I do differently? So I think it will be maybe slightly different. And, you know, television's changed so much since then anyway. I'm sure his style of writing has changed so much since then. I haven't seen anything he's written since Doctor Who, to my shame. But I'm more excited for the Russell T Davies who wrote It's a Sin and Banana Cucumber to come back, rather than Russell T Davies who wrote last minute scripts for like 5 years and brought the show back. So it's going to be really interesting, and it is an exciting time for people who really, really loved that era as well. The nostalgia behind it, I think, is quite cool. I don't envy the poor guy. The first thing he's writing is the 60th anniversary special. That is quite something. And I guess the 14th Doctor's first story is going to be the 60th. So
yeah, unless they do the series.
Good luck.
Unless they do the series at the start of the year and then the finale's the 60th.
Yeah, but they said he's returning for the 60th and beyond. So I feel like
maybe is it the 60th year or it just says 60th anniversary?
Yeah. So I don't know exactly how they're going to handle that. But
yeah, so maybe it is. Yeah.
Either way, writing an anniversary special, no matter who you are, what's going on with the show at the time, is daunting as hell, I would imagine. So that's quite the task he's undertaking. And I also think it's going to be interesting as like measuring the general kind of consensus with Doctor Who. If we're getting Russell T Davies back, you know, his initial era is not going to have the luxury of, oh, we're bringing the Daleks back for the first time in 20 years, the Cybermen back for the first time in 20 years, the Master back. I think that's why that era kind of, it has the privilege of being the only one of the new series to be able to bring those big things back for the first time. So that's always going to be hype at the show anyway. And you know, TV's changed so much anyway, with like streaming stuff like that. And people still, just as many people watch Jodie Whittaker as they did watch Chris Ferguson and David Tennant and everything. So that hasn't necessarily changed. So I'm excited to see what the public consensus is going to be. And it's like, is it just, you know, the show's gone on so long, like every TV show ever, if this goes on long enough, people just aren't going to be that interested in it as they were when it started. Is that going to be the case? Is there going to be some cool magic brought to the show again with Russell T Davies? Is he going to do the same kind of thing? Is he going to do something different? Is Rose coming back? Is the Slitheen coming back, Russell?
Hopefully.
I hope so. So yeah, it's going to be quite the time, I think. But again, we also have 2 years until we're going to get much of a glimpse of it. And what I really appreciate about Russell as well, in that press release, he was like, but you know, let's not jump the gun. We've got a whole series of Jodie Whittaker yet. I really appreciate him mentioning that. So it's like, you know, let's not get too excited just yet, because anything can happen in 2 years.
You're right.
You know, anything could go horribly wrong. But he also has a lot of prep time, which is also very exciting.
Yeah, but he'll still leave it to the last minute. oh, the 60th airs tomorrow. What have I done?
We haven't even filmed it. I mean, if it gets to that point, I think maybe discussions need to be had.
Yeah.
But also bringing the Bad Wolf production company into it, I think it's quite cool. So Julie Gardner, I think, is also kind of stepping her foot back into it. So yeah, it's very odd to be like, oh, Russell T Davies is going to run the show again.
Yeah.
Because it's literally been 11 years. So yeah, I can't truly judge right now until we get even a glimpse of what his vision's going to be, if it's the same or if it's not. I'm hoping for something a bit different from him, to be honest, because you know, Doctor Who is a show about change and moving forward and stuff. And if we're just going back to what we did 11 years ago, that's not changing. But you know, I'm sure his writing's evolved and changed as time's gone on. I'm sure he's had 11 years to reflect on Doctor Who, what he may do differently if he got the chance. He's been given the chance. He made some comments in January, I think it was, like, oh, there should be a Doctor Who channel and there should be all these different spin-offs and stuff. So I'm wondering if he's going to try and bring that vision, if there's a budget for it. I think that's the reason why we don't get that much outside. But yeah, bring back Doctor Who Confidential. I'm excited.
Oh my God, please. Completely forgot about that. Yeah, I mean, since Russell last wrote an episode of the show, we've had 3 different doctors, a young one, an old one, and a woman. We've had what, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 companions since ish, not including River Song. She's across everyone, but and since he wrote for the show, he has written Years and Years, which is quite good. It's quite a sci-fi one. Think Turn Left, but with a budget and adult, which I'm sure he would have loved writing. And we've obviously had It's a Sin as well, which was very just amazing all round, really, from the character work to the writing to the acting. But as you mentioned, it's not till 2023. We do still have a season, some specials, however they want to frame it, 9 episodes or whatever it is, with Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall. So it'll be interesting to see how that ends. Part of me kind of feels bad for the pair of them, because it's like, hey, we've got our show coming out soon, and then they drop this news. It's like, well, now everyone's going to be talking about that.
I will say, I do think it was a bit early to announce this.
Yeah.
I think maybe even after series 13 had aired, before the specials aired, maybe that would have been a good time, because there's literally, you got the whole of 2022 with the specials and stuff. But again, I think they announced Stephen Moffat a couple of years early as well, I think.
And they do it with the Doctors as well. You know, they'll announce the new companion, they'll announce the new Doctor when the current one's still being filmed. You know, sometimes not even finished.
So I think it's the thing, like, announcing it now just before we're going to get a new series, that's either going to like hype it up really well and people will be like, oh, you know, I want to get caught up or whatever for when this happens. But is it also just going to be, oh, come on, just get to Russell T Davies again, we don't care about this? So it could go either way.
I mean, part of me thinks that if people see this news, they'll be like, right, I'm gonna sit down and try and catch up and watch it all and watch this. But those people that do that, whatever, and the people that complain, fine, you just wait your turn. sit there and wait patiently, then you know when it's coming.
I really hope Russell casts a woman, just to take absolutely everything away from those Not My Doctor bastards. Please.
I've seen a lot of rumor going around at the minute that Lydia West, I think her name is the sort of current fan favorite. I think she was the girlfriend in It's a Sin, and she's one of the daughters in Years and Years, and she was very good in both of the shows.
Olivia West, was it?
Lydia West.
Yeah, I was going to say. I'm not getting anything.
Okay. Yeah, so I think she'd be a great choice for the role.
I could see a doctor thing from.
I want to say she's mid to late 20s. So she's there she is. So yeah, I would say that she might be a front runner because she's worked with Russell a couple of times before. Obviously, if you've read his writer's tale, you know he has some favorite actors that he's always keen to work with. So it'd be interesting to see who does get cast, if he's in control of that casting. I would imagine he is. The other interesting point of this is, as you mentioned, that it's Doctor Who now is a co-production with Bad Wolf, which is Julie Gardner, and is it Julie Trainer as well? Are they both Julies, or is one Judy?
I don't know.
I've got the release up. Let me see what it says. Oh, where is it? Explosive Return. Russell, yeah. It doesn't seem to want to tell me.
Good.
We'll never know. I'm sure I saw it somewhere. But yeah, the two people that run Bad Wolf are basically the two people that also worked with Russell on the show previously, which is excellent that they're gonna come back and help him out.
Mm.
And obviously, Bad Wolf is wow. It was set. It was. I think the company was set up just after they left Doctor Who.
It was 2015, I think I read that it started.
Okay, so I'm sure there's. It's although it's a fairy tale, it's probably almost definitely a reference to the show. And
yeah, especially because it's based in Cardiff, I imagine.
yes,
Yeah.
and this company have also worked on things like his Dark Materials recently on BBC as well, so they do have some decent credentials, obviously. So it'll be interesting to see if, because this is a co-production with them, if they're going to sort of take the lead on anything and everything in Doctor Who. So that could mean a return to Sarah Jane Adventures in some form, a return to Torchwood. Maybe even they go, hey, Class missed the beat, but we'll give it another go. Do a second season of Class. They could go anywhere with it, I feel. It sounds like the BBC's like, right, we've got this big thing, but we don't really have the time to look after it properly. We're going to sort of hand it over to this company.
Let's give it to someone who will promote it.
Yeah, let's give it to someone that will do something with it. And it makes sense, especially if this is in the 60th anniversary. So it's been on for 60 years, which is a ridiculously long time for a TV show to go on for. And so it feels like there's so much opportunity moving forwards for the whole universe to expand. Speaking of the 60th anniversary, I feel this is the first kind of acknowledgement from the BBC that they're like, oh yeah, we're going to do something for this.
Yeah.
Because they've stayed completely silent during the 55th anniversary, which admittedly isn't a big year, but people thought maybe something would happen. Not really. So it'll be interesting to see what does happen next year or in 2 years' time, and seeing how Russell wants to play that. Because again, if Jodie regenerates next year, is she going to regenerate into somebody else straight away in that episode? Is the 60th going to start with her regeneration? Is the regeneration going to end and we don't see who it is, giving Russell more time to cast? Because I think a good sort of anniversary special might be to not focus on a new Doctor, but do a story set in the past with as many Doctors as you can get back, and then end it with the new Doctor kind of thing.
Yeah, it would be a huge shame for Joe to leave, and then the very next episode is the 60th anniversary special.
Yeah. So maybe do something similar to what Twice Upon a Time was, where Peter Capaldi sort of fought his regeneration and met the first Doctor. You could do a similar story to that, where Jodie's regenerating or she has to do something, because we don't know what this series is going to be yet. This whole series could be related to the 60th for all we know. Because I know that him and Chris Chibnall are friends. They obviously communicate a fair bit, and they both would have been aware of the plans for the show, because this isn't something that they just decided yesterday and went, okay, we'll announce it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So there's so much potential for the 60th, and that also means that it's going to be interesting to see where this series leaves off. But like, what are you expecting for his first sort of outing, I guess, in the 60th especially?
Yeah, that's a big question. Because again, I'm not sure if like the 60th anniversary special will be that indicative of what his plans like a series would be. So it's really hard to say, especially when it's 2 years off yet.
Yeah.
Anything may or may not happen. So yeah, I imagine there'll be lots of Daleks. Russell loves them Daleks.
I mean, I thought that, but then maybe he'll look at the 50th and say that was too many Daleks, we need something else. But then some people like myself argue that it should have just been Daleks in the 50th and then they shouldn't have. But so who knows which way he'll go. He could have an opinion on anything.
Yeah, he could go either way. I don't know. I would imagine there must be multiple Doctors somehow.
Yeah. Sure, Chris Ferguson will come back.
Absolutely no way. This announcement, I will say, has put the nail in the coffin. Chris Ferguson's never coming back.
No, sadly.
But fair enough. It is a shame, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But we know him and David Tennant get along. He's written for Matt Smith's Doctor on Surgeon Adventures. They get on. I'd like to think Jodie will pop up in some way. The Timeless Children Doctors, they can just get everyone in it. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Um,
Paul McGann.
so yes,
Please.
maybe Paul McGann. That would be a good
Give
one.
him a spin-off.
And it's because we haven't seen Russell write an anniversary special before. I don't really know what to expect. I imagine it will just be, I mean, it's going to be like big epic scale and probably some emotional beats in there and stuff like classic RTD. It's going to feel like a series finale, but it's his first episode back, and he's often quite good at the stakes and the emotions of a finale. So, you know, he's such a big fan of the show that I don't think he's going to let himself falter for the 60th, especially because it's going to be like he has all these ideas, I would assume now. This is his first chance to express them. So either way, I think it will be jolly good. I don't have no solid predictions because for all I know, he's got completely new ideas for the show now.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. It'll be interesting to see how they what kind of tone they take with this, because obviously his series were known for being quite personal, I think, quite family orientated, quite people orientated, and I imagine he'll probably try and take it back down to that smaller scale, because obviously Moffat was quite large scale at times, as was obviously was Chris Chibnall recently with the Timeless Children. That was quite a big arc and a big change to the show. So I would imagine Russell will take it slightly down a little bit. But that being said, I'm all here for whatever he does. Not that I'm like, yes, finally Chibnall is gone, hooray, because I'm not like that. There's no point being like that. It's unfair to everyone involved, even if it is an opinion that some people share.
That's the thing as well with me, like. Yeah, because I enjoyed the Russell T Davies era. I really like the Moffat era. That's my favorite. And I've enjoyed Chibnall as well. So it's not like I'm ready to bury Chibnall's grave and be like, yeah, get in there, you suck. So it's just, oh, this guy's back. I enjoyed his stuff before as well. So I just like Doctor Who, to be honest. I think you'd have to do some fundamentally awful stuff with it for me to actually ever be like, I'm not feeling this. I think there's always going to be the odd episode where I'm like, yeah, that's not great. But I don't think any showrunner on Doctor Who's ever kind of missed the mark. And Russell provably hasn't. So I'm excited for his kind of updated era point two kind of revamp, what he's going to do with it.
Yeah, and that's it, isn't it? It's the fact that since, he started in 2005, the whole world has gone through a number of different changes since then, both socially, politically, and literally physically. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of take he brings. If he brings a similar one to Years and Years and It's a Sin and sort of merges the two together, I'm sure that'll be fine. Although I'm sure people will no doubt be annoyed that the Doctor is gay or is a black person or whatever. But personally, it's an alien. Like, come on, it could have, they even said they could have two heads. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's cast.
People are still gonna hate it. So people will always find reasons.
Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm just shocked, I think, is how I feel for this announcement overall. Completely unexpected for a Friday afternoon. And I'm just it's really,
if this was a Thursday, you'd be absolutely fine.
Oh yeah, no, because then we'd have Friday to go and be like, oh, I don't want to do anything tomorrow now. This has really set me up. But but yeah, it's just I'm excited to see what happens. This news will literally sail me through the weekend to Monday now. And yeah, have you got any other last thoughts?
Just bring back the Celine. I just want to see it.
The space pig.
It's time. No, the space pig can die in a hole. And it did.
Oh.
But yeah, I want a Celine versus Absorbaloff 5-parter to kick off his new era.
That's a 60.
Yeah. Oh, can you imagine? God, people would be so mad. I'd love it. But yeah, I think a lot of people who really loved, that initial era of Doctor Who coming back are very, very happy right now. and I am very, very excited for them as well, as I am for myself, because I liked that era too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think above all else, it is nice to know that we're in safe hands for the next couple of years at least with Doctor Who.
Yeah, it might be a case if he just comes in and steadies the ship for the next 2 or 3 years, and then they go for another showrunner after that, which is fine. You know, shows can do that. There's no problem with that. It's like a football manager returning to his old club to bring that boost of morale, and then leaving after he's steadied the ship out for the season.
Yeah, I can't see him doing it 5 years again. I think it'll be like 2 or 3, and then he'll be like, right, done my bit now.
Well, that's it, because it's interesting to see why, after he's had so much success with his own shows on different things where he's not been sort of as limited, why he would come back. So I can only imagine that there's something there that they've said, look, can you come back and do this for 2 years? Unless he approached them, he might have gone, right, I'm out of ideas. Let's just go back to Doctor Who and do, I know what I can do there. Let's just go back and do that. Which is always the case. And to be fair, he's won enough awards to sort of walk in the door to the BBC and say, I'd like to do Doctor Who again, please. And they've gone, all right, yeah, fine. No matter whatever you say, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Good for him.
Good for her.
But
he's just a big fan. It's like Moffat said when he wrote Twice Upon a Time, because otherwise it wouldn't have been a special. You know, he's never going to leave the show in the lurch. I think Russell's exactly the same, because he's such a big fan of it, and you know, it's still airing today because of him. So it's cool that he's coming back to once again work his magic. Hopefully,
that's the big thing. Well, I mean, that's it. I'm not expecting any more series 13, 14, 60th news now. I would say this is probably going to be it for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah,
could be wrong.
It would be odd to get a trailer like this soon after.
You never know. We didn't expect this, and we never expected them to say. We never expected them to say Jodie Whittaker's leaving when they did. So
that's true. That was like 4 days after.
Yeah.
Panel,
so for all we know, tomorrow we could be back recording it. Hey, there was a trailer, but I wouldn't.
Might be back in an hour when they.
They
might post the trailer while we've been recording this.
Not checked Twitter yet, so who knows? But if for some reason they do, we'll be back to cover that as soon as possible. If not, we will be back as usual on Wednesday with Human Nature, I believe. That's it from us then. We'll see you later in the week. Bye.
Bye.